Some congressional Democrats seem ready to aggressively fight the Trump administration. Congressman Julian Castro of Texas tweeted Monday calling Trump the shadiest, most corrupt guy to take the Oval Office, who will have no strong federal checks and balances. As Representative Maxine Waters questioned incoming Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's strategy of working with the president where they can.
That has been a problem in my party, that when we're in power, we're nice. We bend over backwards to work with people. Trump has stepped on everybody. He has no respect for his own colleagues, let alone those on the opposite side of the aisle. Those people who voted for them ought to be really concerned about the fact that he's already backpedaled on some of the promises that he made. And so, no, I have no intention of pretending everything's all right.
Bob Costa, is that representative of the posture that Democrats are taking on Capitol Hill as Donald Trump comes into office, or is Maxine Waters more of an outlier?
Well, if you're from a safe seat, safe state, blue state, this makes sense. You have a base on the left. But if you're up for re-election in 2018, you're going to be tested early next year. If Trump comes forward with some kind of infrastructure package that has highways in your state and maybe the Rust Belt or the upper Midwest or the West, and you're facing a Republican challenger, this is maybe one president who on federal spending is not a typical Republican. But there's so much pressure, intense, from the left to not work from Trump, that they're going to really have to make a choice.
And this is exactly the thing, Sam Stein, that Republicans were criticized for as President Obama came into office, saying we're not going to work with him, we're going to make him a one-term president.
Yeah, I mean, they have to weigh that, the consistency there. But, you know, an interesting thing my colleague Ryan Grimm and a couple other reporters at HuffPost are reporting is that Trump's transition team is advising him, or people on the transition team are advising him, to work around Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and go straight to members of the Congressional Black Caucus directly saying, help us out with an infrastructure bill. And they think that if they go around leadership, they can pluck off enough members to maybe even get 300 House votes on a massive infrastructure package. And they recognize that, Trump's people recognize that you can do this if you're not completely ideological, that there's enough out there, especially in infrastructure, that you can get a huge bipartisan coalition of lawmakers to rally behind. The question for Democrats is, as Maxine Waters alliterated, is that do you then risk legitimizing this president? Do you then risk helping him out in terms of his perception of the American public, giving him a popularity boost that ultimately helps him in 2018 and 2020 and hurts the party far more than helping your district does with an infrastructure bill? So these are the things that Democrats are trying to weigh right now. And it's a really fascinating battle to watch within the party over who wants to be lockstep in opposition, who thinks they can actually work with the guy.
I mean, look, Democrats in the campaign tried to delegitimize Trump. That's what they ran on. They said, do not normalize
Some Republicans did too.
And some Republicans did too. And it didn't work. And the reality is, Democrats in some ways do have an opportunity on a big infrastructure bill like this. I mean, if you talk to people who are close to Chuck Schumer, he'll say, great, this is an amazing chance to pass a huge Democratic infrastructure bill with lots of federal spending and all of these things that we've been arguing for years. And the reality is, to Sam's point, they need Democrats to do it, the Trump administration, if they want to pass it. And I think the dynamic is going to be very interesting between what do Democrats decide to do, if enough of them decide, okay, we're going to get on board with this, compared to Republicans who don't want to spend this kind of money and have for the last decade.